We'll wait for this to come up. Good evening, Mayor and Council. I do appreciate being here this evening, and I'm very honored in order to share this information with you. Why do we exist? The library continues to support residential quality of life improvements with comprehensive library services, providing materials, programs, and reference services through available technology that meets the recreational, research, and informational needs of fellow residents of all ages. I like to have a quote from the English author Neil Gaiman, and I quote, "Libraries are about freedom. Freedom to read, freedom of ideas, freedom of communication. They're about education, which is not a process that finishes the day we leave school or university. About entertainment, about making safe spaces, and about access to information." End quote. In the 70-year history, the library has continuously adapted to meet the needs of Bellaire residents. In January of 1951, the Bellaire Women's Civic Club started a book drive for the purpose of creating a public library for the new and growing community of Bellaire. The library that was created from that vision was accepted by City Council ordinance and formally opened on May 3rd, 1951. COVID restrictions may have postponed our celebrations, but we will have a celebration at some point this year. We serve the resident readers and the information seekers of Bellaire. We also collaborate with other city departments. In this case, we do story time in the park for recreation. We do Beeline programs, which include speaking or craft programs. We also are involved in the EOC operations. We also provide support, reference support for councils and other boards and commissions of the city of Bellaire. We basically have two breakdowns as to what the library does. One is a traditional library service, and one are library programs and outreach. All of these include offering learning opportunities to the selection, preservation, and organization of books and related educational and recreational materials. We manage the resources of the library, the materials, the space, and the people. We provide public access to technology with the computers connected to internet, electronic services, and basic office machinery. We help people find a job, print a resume, write a resume, email grandchildren, file taxes, FEMA applications, school assignments, research, scanning, photocopying, all the basic services that you don't think about until you don't have it available. We also serve the community as a center of reliable information. We provide assistance to those gathering materials and facts within the library, and we refer individuals and organizations to outside resources when necessary. We promote early childhood literacy and summer reading opportunities for all ages, programs for entertainment or education, and we proctor exams, one of the two libraries in the area that do proctor exams. Recently, we did have a student proctor come in from last year. With COVID, we were not able to do any offering of proctor exams, to tell us that he had passed all of his licensing and he was now gainfully employed thanks to the exams that we proctored. So we are very delighted to hear that, and it's very delightful to know that they come back and say something. As of 5 o'clock this afternoon, we have had 209 register in the Tales and Tales reading program. That's a reading program for all children, teens, and adults. And they've already logged in 744 books. It started June 1st. June circulation so far in the first 6 days has been 3,575, and May's entire circulation is 8,819. That's just to let you know, to give an indication that we are being used now that we're back open to the public again. Library initiatives. The COVID may have slowed us down, but we came up with curbside whole pickup, book bundles, pop-ups, e-books, promotion and teaching how to use them, craft kits, and we also serve as a civic memory through historical archives. The legacy function of a library is to lend the printed book, but we live in a world where more and more information is in digital form, accessible anytime and anywhere. People are looking forward to libraries to be tech centers, quiet places for study, meeting rooms, comfortable places for reading, writing, relaxing, as they look to libraries and librarians for help in these quests. This is who is in our library. This is the staff. We have 7.5 FTE. The 3, blue and red, are the professional librarians. Each of us have a master's degree from an accredited library, from the American Library Association accredited school. And the ladies and gentlemen in green are the other support staff. We have 1 library support technician who helps troubleshoot with IT, public computers in the library, which we have about 18 or 19. Kathleen is a library assistant who mainly works the circulation desk, but also orders and helps with the collection development, orders all the book materials that we have. Sally Gross helps with circulation and orders all the non-book material. David Wu is a library assistant who also is our person who deals with finance in the purchasing department. And then Ivana is our part-time library assistant who will be leaving this fall to attend library school. All of these people have a total of 112 years of service in this library. So with 3 people have been there 25 plus years, a couple of them are 15, and then we have the newbies that are about 3 to 5 years old. But it's a very important service. We also offer service in Chinese and Spanish languages. This is the operational overview of our budget for the last 3 years. We developed the 2022 submission. It is not much different. We've maintained the basic services that we've already talked about and shown you. We try to stay very hard within our budget and follow the request of the city manager and the finance director. We take it to heart. The performance indicators are these that are selected by the ICMA indicators. They are fairly common in library land, as we like to call it. Librarians also have a tendency to give all kinds of counts and count everything, so it's fairly easy to come up with. Most of them are based on circulation counts, and then a comparison to expenditures and per visitor. We have gate counts, we have daily gate counts. So we are easily able to provide a standard of indicators that can be compared with other libraries throughout the nation. Our management projects. The first one is FY21. It's 20 or 21, and it is exactly, not exactly it was an impromptu management project. In August of 2019, the Houston Area Library Automated Network, which is a consortium of libraries that is housed in the City of Houston Public Library, decided to dissolve. Now, that left us with no way to circulate any material. We would have no database. We would have nothing. So we were able to, we accepted an offer from the Harris County Public Library to house the information until things were resolved. And with the help of Patrice and IT, we were able to migrate to Harris County Public Library in December of that year and continue service. Since then, we also have established a reciprocal borrowing so that if you have a Harris County Public Library card or a Bellaire City Library card, you have access to the entire county library system material. We lend things out to Harris County branches to check out, and a lot of them come back to Bellaire to check out. So it has increased our offer for the community very, very much. We also, that we migrated from the City of Houston to Harris County. We are a Houston Public Library hold pickup site for their materials, but we do not have a reciprocal borrowing with them. We continued library service during the COVID closure. We did try to open about 3 weeks in June of last year, but that didn't last very long. But we still offered curbside, we offered pop-ups, we got books out to the people, we walked through them, have a place hold. For the month of April, when we were actually closed and working from home, the assistant director and I took phone calls and registered people over the phone, walked people on how to do e-books. We We tried to provide as much help as we could to the people that could not physically come into the library. We are having people come in with little dances now because they're so happy to come into the library. In FY22, what we're looking at is we are required by the Texas State Library and Archives Commission to have a 5-year long-range plan on file. Ours expires this year, so we're going to take this summer and this fall to prepare the next 5-year plan. And that is simply a simple thing, because I'm going to give the assistant director a chance to do it. It's a review of all of our services and our programs. You find out what we're doing right, what we're doing wrong. We ask people what we're doing right, what we're doing wrong. And then we have to look into the trends and see where we can go, where we can be with this library in the next 5 years. Okay. The page numbers threw me off. I do apologize. As part of the long-range plan, it's the look at the evolving library trends. How do we implement them? How do we pay for them? One of the things that we also have to consider is with all of these new ideas, hotspots, laptops for loans, maker spaces, computer labs, mobile printing, how do you evolve? How do you plan it? How do you pay for it? And how is it housed? And that one of the considerations is to actually consider facility options for future library operation. This is all planned as a collaborative effort. One doesn't exist without the other. Our current building is a 1962 and a 1974 edition, and while we can house books very nicely, it does not meet necessarily the technology requests of today, nor does it meet meeting space and some of the other desires of the community. So it's just something that I would like to have a consideration of, that they consider, where would we go? Where do we go from here in the future? And with that, I'll be happy to answer any questions or find you answers to questions.
Thanks, Mary. Council, any questions or feedback? Councilor West?
A couple quick questions. When you, the points to ponder, you say plan for evolving library services. Was that the intent that y'all would have, that you would be working on a plan, or that you would have some sort of comprehensive plan going forward in terms of what you saw the services being in the future based on technology changes and things like that? That's
part of it. Also, part of it is finding out from the community, what does the community want? I mean, if they're happy with just hardback books, then that's, but we also have seen a great rise in the number of electronic books. So how do we best fund that, as well as serve the ones who want the books themselves?
And so, as I appreciate it, the electronic books, you pay for the copy, and then it's like you can only check it out to one person at a time type thing?
It depends on which service you use.
Oh.
The particular service that we're using, we have two. One is Overdrive, and it is one copy, one license per copy, and one, so that's why it's a consortium that we're a part of at this point. That's why they buy multiple copies so multiple people can use them. We did have Hoopla for a while, and it was, you pay for each checkout, and it was unlimited. However, we found after our 3-year initial project that it simply was unsustainable, particularly after COVID, because I have to say I got a little nervous toward the end of it. But it's something I would like to look into again with some more stable funding. But there's also, we're now part of the E-Library, which is simply E from the state library, who has offered this to some of the smaller libraries. They're not as robust, but it's still at no charge to us right now, and there are more copies available.
When Connie gets out, when there's actually kids there, it's my understanding that a lot of those kids actually come over to the library.
They used to. Since COVID, the whole patterns have changed. The patterns have changed significantly. This is why it's been a challenge during this fiscal year to project what we're going to have in terms of service for the rest of this fiscal year and next fiscal year. I'm monitoring the daily totals of circulation and registration for summer reading closely because we've had a year without a comparison. And it has been surprising to me that we do not have that flood of children in at 3:30 every day. I did work this Saturday. We're only open half a day. Normally our hours are 54 hours a week, Monday through Saturday. But with the COVID hours, we're only at 40 hours, Monday through Saturday. So it's 4 hours Friday, 4 hours Saturday. We had 222 people in Saturday. And yes, I went home and took a nap. But they were checking out books. And the summer reading is a whole different animal. It really is. I think COVID also helps in that people have gotten used to reading while they've been at home, but now they want out.
Well, I wasn't complaining about the kids from COVID. I think it's actually, if there ever was a place to be, the library is fantastic. And I guess I think people should be aware of that. So if they say, well, we should move the library, we should do something, obviously that would be a detriment to those kids who are used to doing it.
And that is probably one of the considerations to ponder for the future.
Sure.
Is that the best place? Is that the best option? Is that, you know, a lot of factors that do come into play. We are looking forward to all of the COVID restrictions being eliminated, and we can start in-house programming again. We are trying to develop, with the help of the Friends of the Library, some of the backyard. We now have a new ADA ramp, a nice butterfly garden. All the rain has really helped the butterfly garden. But we're trying to establish some outdoor programming. Our plan to reopening is at 50 to 75% occupancy, which we are at now. We can do outdoor programming, start offering that. Of course, now it's 93 degrees, so. But we'll get there. We'll get a balance. But the craft kits are going well. People want to come in and do things, but we also want to be very safe as we approach the summer.
Thank you.
Yes, Mary, I'll just ask a quick follow-up to the first part of that. The first question, as an Overdrive user myself, and you mentioned we're part of a consortium, do I infer correctly that that's kind of the former participants in Howland are still registered with Overdrive in that collective?
Yes, except that we are not partnering with the city of Houston in it. So they also separated from at the Howland stage. So that it should have improved a little bit, because we no longer have all the Houston residents after the Overdrive.
So if logged in through the Bellaire side, because of course Bellaire residents can opt either one of those routes, then the licenses would be presumably more available.
Yes.
To users within the consortium that.
Based on your library card registration. So if you have a Harris County library card, you can also log in.
Right. Very good.
They're waiting.
Well,
If you haven't done Simply E, try that next.
thanks to you and your staff for ensuring there are multiple ways for us to access the outside world. That's great.
Thank you. Thank you.
I think we've done a fantastic job of continuing to accommodate, traditional library hard book sent as well as the e-users.
It is changing, and the COVID, I think, pushed more people to e-reading than ever before, which is what we need to learn to adapt to.
And yet the demand you saw throughout COVID with curbside, physical book pickup, as well as sort of the pent-up demand that is obviously showing itself with 200 people walking through on Saturday. That's fantastic.
Yes. We had the largest number of people last week was on the 1st, the Tuesday after the holiday. Now, granted, that is possibly after because of the holiday. We had 280 come through that day.
To me, that's just testament to the great job you and your staff are doing.
And that's 8 hours, so if we work until 8, it would be a little bit more. But it's still down. We've had 700 before in a day.
Councilmember Fine.
I'm always impressed with the creativity and energy that you and your staff have to look at new and innovative ways to reach our people. I was also very encouraged in the last few weeks of the school year. Wednesday is Granny Day for my grandchildren, and I take kolaches and donuts for breakfast and then put them on the school bus. And the two younger ones insist on taking a book, a turn-the-page book, to ride on the school bus. And I said, don't you take your iPad? No, I want the book. And I was very heartened that it isn't an electric book, it's a turn-the-page book. So I thought, well, maybe there's hope for this generation yet, so.
Well, I think that will last until about middle school. As we're finding, the ones learning to read and picture books, the picture book quality and illustrations don't seem to translate as well to the flat screen. So it's the picture books that are really checked out and used.
Is that the graphic or what are they?
No,
called?
those are just, where the wild things are. The
Oh.
picture books, the ones whose the illustrations is what comes off the page. As they get into reading and the reading of the chapter books, we call them easy specials. They're seeing the words on the page, and they're also looking at the size of the book and how many words, and you don't always see that on a screen. But once they hit middle school, I'm sorry to say, the call of the electronic is there. But we can still get them back on occasion.
Well, I was just hopeful.
Oh, hold on to that thought, hold on to that.
Hold on to that hope.
And that hope.
Anything further, council, for Mary?
And so please, we have that app, you sign up online or on your computer for your summer reading program. We have some fabulous adult prizes this summer, courtesy of the Friends of the Bellaire Library. You can get your a fancy fan for the heat. You can get a water mug that has read on it, that we are just great. And then our very favorite one is a canvas bag with the 70th anniversary logo on it. So all you have to do is read up to 10 books, all summer, just for summer. And it's on the honor system. Thank you very much.
Very good. Thank you, Mary.